People deluded, I'm back again. Now, what was I gonna say? Yeah, obviously Fridays equals Q&A days, and I'm here. I'm actually waiting for Arsenal versus United, so I'm not recording it on a Thursday. I'm actually being cheeky and doing it on a Wednesday, but I'm good for it, folks. Allow me, man. You know how peak this week is with having to bring out so many things that I do on a weekly basis, having to manage my personal life, having to talk about football's incidences that are happening. You lot have to allow me to save time when I count on one man, but there's only so many hours. That being said, big up yourselves each and every time in the many time zones, formats you're watching my vids, and whatever frequency you are. I can't thank you lot enough, and I can't thank you lot enough for asking me questions for many reasons, and because you lot are just taking time out of your lives to watch my content and ask me questions. So thank you very much, man. But let's not waste any time, because what's the time now? 12 minutes past 7. Arsenal versus United is at 8 o'clock. If we lose, I'm gonna bone out. But yeah. Yo, what's going on? Sorry, people, before I crack on. Max, I'm weird sometimes. It just come off the screen where the questions were. But let's crack on. Genix John, big up yourself, my guy. You're always in the comment section. You said, hi, DG. What do you think about David Alaba? Do you think we could lure him from Bayern Munich? Well, anything's possible in football, but I don't see what we could offer him that Bayern Munich can't, apart from maybe, was he an Arsenal fan in his childhood, or he obviously must have watched Thierry Henry. Does he want to play in the Premier League, and can we get a deal? Then I suppose it can be done. I think he's a terrific player, probably stagnated or gone off the ball in the last couple of seasons, but he's a terrific player, my guy, and yeah, I'd love it, but it won't happen in my opinion. React Beat Generals asked, what's your thoughts on Mario Hermoso, Benjamin Pavard, Kieran Tierney, Ferland Mendy and Nicolas Pepe? Allow me, G. I swear I've spoken about them in all vids. I've given my opinions on Hermoso. I think he's good. I think Pavard's very good. I've spoken about him. Tierney, I actually don't think I have a video on him. I think he's a good player, and I think it's long overdue for him to actually come to the Premier League or somewhere else. No disrespect to Celtic. Ferland Mendy, I think he's good. Bit question marks for me, probably defensively, but he's a very good left back. And Pepe's a good player too. So all in all, they're all terrific players. Bellows asked, imagine if the players with Jamaican origins actually played for Jamaica's national team. Could they compete with top-class countries in international tournaments? I don't know, my guy, but Jamaica would certainly, and people forget how I got Beijing in me as well, but specific to Jamaica, one thing's for sure, would be a definite stronger nation. I mean, you look at Sterling, you look at the several players we could be all day. Yeah, we'd be in a better state, but you need to remember that it's all good having great players. You need the staff to be good. You need the coach to be good. You need the mentality from the JFF president and them things to be good. And certain other things. I don't need to touch on these things too tough. But they're not singing from the same hymn sheet essentially. So we'd be a much stronger country without a doubt in terms of football. But when you say top class, I know you ain't talking about Spain and them thing there and France. Maybe not them, but probably give the likes of, the mid-nation teams a good fight. It'd be good. So yeah, man. You've asked me another one. Which club do you think gets the best out of young players to go on to achieve greater things? You've said Dortmund, Monaco, Gien, Ajax, and Anderlecht. Well, historically and probably still to this day, generally, you have to give it to Ajax in my opinion. Monaco obviously got Kylian and them things, and I mean, you look at the amount of players that Monaco have brought through their academy, so historically and now. So, again, on top of Kylian, so you've got to respect both of them. Gent and Anderlecht, two very good Belgian clubs, which historic links that have again been producing good players, and Dortmund have a good thing. I'm gonna go with Ajax for historic reasons, and to this day, I mean, before I was born, before I was even a thing, probably when I die, this team will still be producing players for their national team, whether to and also to be sold on to play in the top levels, whether you necessarily think they're good players or not. I mean, yeah, I gotta give it to Ajax, man. I mean, how I don't know how many, but definitely not of recent years, but how many Ajax players have gone on to challenge for World Player of the Year historically, and things like that, and Player of the Year and all them other accolades and top team accolades as well. So that's a good question. I'd give it to Ajax, my guy. But all of them develop players in their own special way, and they all do that. They all have different models, to be fair with you. Probably some similarities in the sense that they probably all know Europe's elite will probably come circulating for one of their players or many of their players if they ever have a good side or team. As you've seen, actually, once upon a time, to a degree with Dortmund, definitely Monaco got ransacked. Gent constantly gets raided. Ajax you're seeing players from 16 years of age down to people that stay in their 20s get raided. Anderlecht the same. I mean, look at Charlie Masonda. If he stayed at Anderlecht, I'm not saying he made a good or bad decision, but if he stayed at Anderlecht and developed a bit like Telemans did in Belgium before he made the move, ironically for Anderlecht as well, before he's joined another club that you've mentioned in Monaco to develop, who knows where Masonda would be as a player, but we know he's been at Chelsea since, 15, 16. He's now 22, 23 years of age. If I had to say 5, 6 appearances, sadly, at Chelsea, he probably has more, but I couldn't guess anymore. I don't feel confident in guesstimating that, so I'd probably say about 6. Decent first loan spell in Spain, been a bit iffy. So, yeah, man, Anderlecht producing players, they're all doing good things, and that's a great question. I think I've actually no, I ain't missed out a question. I think sadly I've copied and pasted your question, Bello, twice, man. Sorry, my guy, confused myself for a sec there, but yeah, I've answered his questions. Riyadh asks, what's your thoughts on Yusuf Attal? I can't say his name. I assume you're talking about, he's not Moroccan, apologies. The Algerian guy, 22 years of age, plays in France. What team? Nice. Now, admittedly, I've tried to pay a bit more attention. I don't have extensive knowledge on him, but what I have seen, his strengths seem to be going forward and stuff. Bit more question marks for me defensively, but like I said, I don't have the most extensive knowledge on him. He can also play out wide as well, further up on the wing, so that explains why he excels going forward and he's confident 1v1 players. Like I said, my knowledge isn't the best, so I need to look at him a bit more, because from what I've seen, defensive one-on-one phases, he's a bit so-so. Stopping the cross is a bit so-so. I know football's evolved, and one of my fullback heroes that when I was told that I couldn't be a winger and tried to be a fullback, that I tried to model my game on Dani Alves. He's had good defensive performances, but when you scream Dani Alves and modern fullbacks, you're not really... Lam would probably be... He's not better than Alves before you look at my comments. There's a lot of sentiment in that. But you don't think of too many of these fullbacks with good defensive prospects, or games, or being good defensive prospects, or greatly good defenders, if that's even a sentence. Great defenders sort of thing. You don't really think of that. You think of what they can do for going forward. That's the modern day. That's what they've got to adapt to. We're saying the same thing about centre halves. You mentioned centre half 21. You mentioned John Stones 21. 20 years ago or 10 years ago, maybe even 10 years, 2018, realistically, they would have spoken of him as possibly being the next John Terry and Rio Ferdinand. They probably would have said a cross, because he's got the ball playing and he puts his body on the line like Terry. Now it's similar lines, but you're just hearing how fantastic he's a ball player, and he's a terrific tackler of a football. And at a point, I don't think he had any yellow cards, so it made it even more in the season or so. So I think it made it even more better. But that's the way football's evolving. Hopefully I've answered your question, my guy. And you're right, Spence should probably look at him, and if you believe he's going to be one of the best fullbacks in the world, fair play. Yeah, man, if you're talking about, does he play on the left or the right hand side? Like I said, my knowledge isn't that extensive on the man. I've only watched Nice a handful of times, and when I watched them the other day or 2 months ago, they brought on some young kid with an afro, so I'll probably need to watch him a bit more. And if he has played, admittedly, he hasn't caught my eye. You know, the ones people you watch in football, you don't really see him. It happens to me a lot, especially with the young players. But yeah, he's either left or right back. If I've mixed up, forgive me. Either way, he's a good fullback on either side. His strengths seem to be going forward, but I need to see a bit more. But if you're saying he has one of the potential to be one of the best fullbacks in general in the world, then I'll take your word for it, my guy, and I'll do my homework on him a bit more. Techie Torreras asks, you can only eat 1 meal for the rest of your life. What are you choosing? Now that's a tough one. I love my food. I might not look like I like food, but I love my food, man. Putting on, I don't know, it's weird, people, but I know, you know, when you come out the shower, you cream yourself, you get ready, the feeling of putting on fresh socks, I love it, people. I love to eat, I love fresh air, I love bare weird stuff like that. So yeah, I'd say jerk chicken and rice, because I could probably eat that every day. I could name a lot of foods that I would probably get bored of every day, but I could genuinely probably eat that, especially if it's proper jerk chicken, not just jerk season, proper thing on the proper cooking thing and everything there. But probably that, or probably some breadfruit, probably maybe dumplings, if this counts, if I can just say foods in it. If it's a fruit, a mango, I love mango, man. Probably strawberries or mangoes. If I could live off either one of them, to answer your question. So jerk chicken and rice. I don't remember the specific name for the burger, but Meat Liqueur, they've got like this burger where it's chicken and it's got cheese, and then it's mad, and the sauce is nice. It's like, big up yourselves, Meat Liqueur, man. I could live on that with chips, because come on, bro, you said meal, so that, chips and a drink, I'm sorted. I should be sorted. not to plug meat liqueur, but that meat liqueur, sorry, that burger, one of the best burgers I've had in my life. I don't take my word for it and just go and buy it, people, and it ruins you, because I ain't had too many burgers. That's one of my favorite burgers. I'm lying, I've had loads of burgers. Anyways, you've asked another question. What's your favorite pair of football boots? Well, technically cheating is technically not even football boots, you know, my guy. But my first ones that make me proper nostalgic is, you know, well, I don't know how old you are, my guy. I don't think you interact with me on Twitter. I think you would know it's a back in the day thing for you. But you know when your mum says you can get Astros, or you'll go shopping with your mum, be it like just bums up your mum, like really just bread your mum, just be very nice, be very helpful, and then you ask, oh, can we go in JD or Sky or Sports Direct, and that there's these boots. They were like, you know, the old total Nike. It's not the one of the, I wouldn't say one of the first, but it's like it was white, like the outside was white where the Nike tick is. It had a black Nike tick. It had the, you know, like the seam of the boot, it had black on one side, Nike on the other. Them, or if you remember Ronaldo Lima R9's boots, he had some silver ones. You know, the silver with the black. I had them in Astros. I love them boots. In terms of actual football boots, I'd say CTRs were probably my best boots. Secondary school, because I had flat feet before. I had to get some things put in my shoes to give me a hit, to give me that arch some people are born with. CTRs, man. I feel even when I'd done that, got that, I still feel that was probably the best, most comfortable boot. I feel I'm missing a lot out. A lot of Adidas Predators, Vapors as well. I mean, I never had no Vapors. I couldn't afford the £200 boots that some people had, but I used to like looking at them on Sports Direct. And when you should be doing your working class, I used to like going on. And I know you lot did it. You went on Nike ID or whatever the website was, and you played around with boots and customized boots you were never ever gonna get in the physical. But hopefully that answers your question. And you've asked me, could we play three at the back with Ozil behind Laka and Aubameyang? Yeah, we could do it. In my head, and I should have made a video about this, if we could kind of do Lyon's system, because Depay used to be a winger. Obviously, with Fekir, you want Fekir the same. Them two players there, you get the best out of them when they're central. Not cams, but they really have the freedom of the central position, similar to a degree to Messi and Hazard to a degree. They found a way of making sure Fekir, Depay, all of these guys when they're playing. So obviously they move about a couple of times, but more or less they find a good way of blending in the whole team and finding a way for everybody to play. So I'd probably say if we could take a leaf out of sometimes the formation that they deploy. I think Betis actually play three at the back very well as well. And there's another team. Before I was about to say Betis, I was about to say them, but it's escaped me, man. It's escaped me. It's not Valencia. It's escaped me, my guy. But sorry about that, but hopefully that answers your question. I think it's possible. Dennis asked, how realistic is the signing of Ousmane Dembélé, considering our strong French core and our BV Dortmund links? My guy, I'm not sitting there with Dembélé or Guendouzi or the people that make the decisions at Arsenal. So for me, I find it very hard to be optimistic about Dembélé coming to the club. I would love it. I've been proved wrong with Aubameyang. I didn't think we'd sign Aubameyang. Purely because I'm an Arsenal. I still have that phobia about Arsenal. Like for me, Arsenal's still a big signing. Like I always am typically pessimistic. I hope it does. Hopefully, but if this club really talks about having no money, like where's the money gonna come from? I know magically it tends to come every season when these things happen. But if the money's there, why not? I suppose you could convince him, but I just can't. I can't find any logic in my head to think it's realistic, my guy. That's just me. So apologies, Dennis. Ishadas asks is, how do you approach girls in a club, rave or dance? My guy, there's not really a set way. I mean, just be yourself, just be confident, just be respectful, and if she's feeling your wave, you'll get the number or whatever you're trying to do, you know what I mean? But if she's not, then in life not everyone's going to feel you. Just move on to the next one, my guy. But in short, probably just be confident. Don't act whoever you are, just be yourself, innit? Don't be something you think the girl will be attracted to or something like that. But what do I know? I know about football. I don't know about that, man. You probably got to go holler them Towie Duns or something, my guy. But big up yourself. Rox is, do you think there's a chance of Ozil going to Barcelona for Dembélé? Nope, because Ozil won't be allowed to do certain things. He gets away with at Arsenal there. He ain't going to get the wage he gets at Arsenal. In fact, he probably could at Barca, but they probably wouldn't. On top of the Madrid links, it probably won't be viable. And I think he would fit in and he would give them a new dimension, but the word improve, I wouldn't say he improves them for everything and the stage he's at. He would complement them, he'd be a good player, but nah, man. I wouldn't want to swap Ozil for Dembele, but I would at the same time. Admittedly, my guy, man, you've aroused my imagination essentially in that. But yeah, Herbert's asked another one. Big up yourself along with Ra. Werner's mashing work for his club and not really doing the same for Germany. Is it Joachim Löw's fault, and is he going still? I'm not clued up with German matters, but you would, just on my opinion, you would think because he's been there so long, they've won stuff, he's seen players develop. Sometimes at club football and in international, as we know, like it's good to have a change. Football works in cycles, and you could say that to a degree based on the way they're playing. That just as a general point that he is stagnating, but directly to Werner, I don't know. I think Werner, obviously, you can never underestimate the step up in quality, like you saw with probably Ismail Assar at the World Cup, Werner, Milinkovic-Savic, and a couple others like definitely, what's my man, the Portuguese one, Guedes, definitely the Guedes. Like you saw, my guy, they're good players, but this is our next. It's like playing top level clubs in Champions League. It's a different level. It's not about just being a good player. It's about thinking quicker. And that level, every level you get up, you have to think quicker and adjust. And they're good players, but we need to remember they're still developing. And obviously, because we're football fans and we've probably become desensitized to the actual level I'm referring to, but it's different levels. Like, no disrespect to Leipzig, but it's a different level. Like, physically, he's a different level, and it's a mental thing. Like, we can't at Leipzig again. I'm not watching them religiously, but he's one of their best players, essentially one of their go-to men. So he probably gets a bit of freedom. Germany, there's probably different instructions, probably different runs he's got to make, different tactics. He's probably got to accommodate to different players, and we can't also. I don't think they're doing this, but you can't, like with Messi at times. You see players that were top players at clubs and they go to Barca and they change their game, like Villa. There's a seniority in terms of the positions you can take up or certain little things like that, and that can all play an effect. I'm just speaking hypothetically because, again, I'm not on the pitch with them and I'm not watching Germany religiously, but that's just my take in it. Hopefully I've given you what you need to take from that. Igel asks does Zelalem need to leave for first team football? Probably, because he's still in the under-23s and he's getting on a bit. He's still young, but probably needs to make that level. He has been stagnating for a couple of seasons, so he probably does. You've also asked, why don't we scout more Portuguese players? Well, we've always got our scouts there. We're always getting reports, but for what reason, as we don't sign them, I don't know, my guy. Wish I could help. As Lem asks, can Arsenal and Chelsea get top four? If they keep carrying on how they've been going on and staying in and amongst the pack, come the end of the season, you never know what could happen. So maybe it's down to the players. Tobias Merchant asks, what's your thoughts on Magala Sarr and Kondogbia as potential targets? Well, I like Sarr. Believe you've got to scout him a bit more and he's one of them. When I really want to play, like with Torreira and Guendouzi, I like to be 100% convinced, especially with Torreira. I'm a bit like Wenger with that, and I like him a lot, but I wouldn't say I'm 100% as to his level and where he could go, but I like him. Kondogbia, I like him as well. I think he's a good player, but he's one of them, you know, when you just feel with a player the bolt's just gone for your club and stuff like that. He'd fit in, he'd hit the ground running, but yeah, that would just be my take on him. Someone is removed your name, but apologies. But someone's also asked, Lichtsteiner is out of contract in the summer. Has Maitland-Niles got the potential to play at right back ahead of Bellerin or possibly contest for a place? I'd say yes, my guy. I want Maitland-Niles to play in midfield, but you can't we don't know the future. Him playing as a fullback might be what happens to him in the future. I think he's a centre mid, but you can't discount that. And just to get games, why not? And you've also asked, if Mesut Ozil was signed, could we use 4-3-3 with a midfield potentially of Fornals, Xhaka and Torreira? That's a good question, and it's annoying that your name's gone. But yeah, you could do that, my guy. You probably could. But the question is, where would you sell Ozil? It's a bit like Alexis at United. Where is he going to go? Who's going to give them the wages that they require? So it isn't really going to happen. And I don't actually want to sell Mesut Ozil, to be fair with you. Fornals is my guy. I've got time for Xhaka, and how can you not like Torreira? But yeah, I think I've got through everybody's questions, and hopefully I've given you lot some good content. Like I said, I've tried not to miss out any questions. I try so hard to make sure that's not a thing. If I've missed you out, apologies. I'll handle that next week. But thank you very much for the questions, people. No question is too weird, too stupid. There's no such thing as a stupid question. And again, all I can do is say thank you, people. So on that note, people, enjoy the rest of your day, evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Stay safe, and yeah, man, deluded. I'm out. The best YouTuber in this is a fact.